Hey, thanks guys. Appreciate you having me out. You mind telling me who you are and what you're doing?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Travis Phillips, and this is Alan King, and we're with LittleTreeLabs, and we appreciate you coming up and chatting with us.
Absolutely. So what does LittleTreeLabs do?
So we are a vertically integrated company that tries to manufacture the highest quality CBD hemp products that can be taken from farm all the way to bottle. And so we have active farming operations, we do processing, and then we usually lean on retail to sell our products, but we're farm to bottle and selling to the general public like that.
Nice. So tell me more about your products.
So we have, LittleTree specifically specializes in full spectrum products at the end of the day. And so we have tinctures, we have skincare, a muscle rub, a buttercream, some for skin health, some for pain relief, and then we also have some pet products as well as a number of things coming down the line. It's moving quickly, and we're developing more, but we can't get there fast enough. But we're trying as hard as we can.
Yeah, it seems like you're racing. Is there any products that you use particularly?
I use the tinctures on a regular basis every day. I'm taking the tinctures. I have a lot of shoulder pain in general that prevents me from sleeping, so specifically use it to manage pain to help me sleep.
And I use the tincture as well for sleep. It really helps me relax if I can take it about 30 minutes before bedtime, and it really has changed the way I sleep. I took prescription sleep pills for many years before I found CBD, and CBD has really changed my life for the better. Those sleeping pills would oftentimes leave me kind of feeling almost hungover, I guess is a way to put it, and almost in a kind of a fuzzy fog. And with CBD, I can still get to sleep and get my sleep, but without the secondary effects of the prescription sleeping pills the next day.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough that can be said about getting a good night's sleep and then wake up feeling refreshed and not groggy and hungover.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's really changed. It's really helped me quite a bit, and and that's kind of what led me to LittleTree, and just after kind of experiencing the product, it was you can really see how CBD can really replace a lot of the traditional pharmaceuticals that are out there, and without a lot of the negative side effects that are associated with those prescriptions.
Nice. So which one of you are mainly doing the extraction, or y'all kind of split gear? Or?
We all wear multiple hats all the time.
Yeah.
We go where the most need is at any given week at this point. We've been working on developing our processing procedures for a long time, collaborating, kind of continuing to improve that, and then at this point it's wherever we're needed. We're at the point now where we're starting to build out a team who can be in the lab, and that way we can continue to, because when you talk about farming and processing and figuring out how to get these products on a shelf somewhere, there's a lot to be done, and so we've all been very much intertwined in a lot of it, and just kind of we do what's most needed in any given week.
Yeah, it really is a team effort, and our volume is growing, and we're starting to hire a few more folks to help out with everything that goes into producing a product. It was kind of funny. We actually started doing this in my garage, and we quickly outgrew my garage within about a month or two, and it's been a wild ride. Learning the whole process from start to finish, and that's something that Travis and I are really proud of. Is we process our own hemp. I mean, we start with plant material, we process it, and get the crude out. We're vertically integrated, and that's something that's important to us, is being able to set foot on the actual ground where this hemp is being grown, be able to talk to the people growing it and understanding how they're growing it, make sure they're doing it in a safe manner, and not using a lot of chemicals or pesticides or herbicides on the product. And it's important for us to understand how the material is processed, because there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of variables. So it's important for us to really, see that entire process to make sure that we're delivering a consistent, high-quality product.
As you say, you started this out in your garage, so as far as being an entrepreneur, this wasn't really as much an entrepreneurial venture as it was a passion that you could turn into a business and make it a business.
Correct, and it is a business, but at the end of the day, we are just people helping people, and that's the exciting part. Is it's just not a money grab for us. It is something for us that we have developed a passion for, and if we weren't doing this as a business, we'd be growing hemp just probably for fun anyway. So,
and that's really how it started. Just wanting to be a part of the state's agricultural program and see what that was about, and contribute to some of the research and some of the developing industry there. It was just going to be just a, hey, let's see what happens, and then before you know it, we have a full-blown operation. And
it's funny kind of how it happened, because Travis and I were having lunch one day, and it was like, hey, let's just grow a few hemp plants, and that's what we did. And Travis got a grow permit. He has a nice size acreage piece of land out in Soddy Daisy, and originally that's what it started out. We were going to grow literally 30 plants. We were like, hey, we're just going to go out there for a couple of weekends, have a good time.
Turned into a lot more work than we expected overall.
Yeah, farming's not easy.
Yeah, and then once we got those plants in the ground, we started thinking about the processing and doing a lot of reading, and we're like, well, hey, that looks like a lot of fun. We did a lot of research, and before you know it, I was having rotovapes delivered to my garage. And,
yeah.
That's an interesting thing. I don't know if you've ever had a rotovape delivered to your house, but the delivery folks always we're like, what are you doing in here?
or the 55-gallon drum of ethanol shows up.
I remember, the FedEx truck kind of shows up, and he's delivering, this 55-gallon drum of ethanol, and he's just going, what are you doing here? as we're dragging it down my driveway to the garage.
Yeah.
And so, it was kind of a unique experience, and before you knew it, the garage was just, there was no more room left, and it was just like, we needed some heavy-duty power supplies and stuff like that, and it was just like, well, maybe doing it out of the garage, if we want to make a real go at it.
How much product were you able to produce in your garage, and what were you doing with it?
It was mainly R&D as far as getting started in the garage, and so basically it was just a handful of tinctures, and that's it.
And we never sold any of that stuff. It was just we were just figuring out the processes, and figuring out how to decarboxylate the material, the crude, and had a lot of spills. There's still crude that has been boiled over that will never come off the floor of that garage ever. And we've used the garage as just a launching point. Like I said, it was more of just something. At that point in time, it was just more of a side hustle, I guess. It was more of the goal was just to make just enough money just to help pay for
your hobby.
This hobby, and then all of a sudden it was just like, we're having a blast. This is way better than our 9-to-5 type jobs, and then we decided well, hey, let's just make a go at this.
When did patient interaction start coming? When did you start dealing with people and start getting your product out there?
Well, that probably started about October or November is when we really started building the website. We have an e-commerce website where you can kind of build that. We were looking at ways.
What's that address?
It's www.LittleTreeLabs.com.
Check it out.
Check it out. That's great, and put a lot of work into it. And we've already redone the website once, and so that was a lot of trial and error to get that figured out. But about October, that's when we started thinking about okay, now that we've made this, how do we get it out there? How do we take it? How do we connect with the people that are going to be using this? And we started talking to some of the retail shop owners here in town, of local CBD shops, and trying to get a better understanding of what people were buying, what strengths, do they like it flavored, unflavored, do they like bigger bottles, small bottles, started experimenting with label designs and all that kind of good stuff. So officially, we launched the website on Black Friday, and that was kind of the first day that the website was open and taking orders. And every day we are, talking to people and trying to really hone in on the consumer, like what does the consumer want, and a few of the things that we've been able to identify that is important to our customers is they like our product because they know where it came from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we don't buy crude in 55-gallon drums. We make our crude. Because there's some companies out there that just buy the crude, and it's all a marketing campaign at that time. Repackaging it and going, which is fine. I think that's a sound business strategy. But for us, it was
we're more quickly that the customer wants more. A lot.
Right. They want to talk to the guys that are doing all the steps of the processing and really having a good understanding that. Of what is in that bottle. It's just not coming from hemp from China or Eastern Europe or
And the regulations are kind of not there really on that, so people have a hard time of knowing what's in their bottle is really
correct. And you do have a number of issues with some CBD not containing the stated amount of CBD that's on the bottle, and that's an issue. And then again, not knowing what else is in that bottle, because to your point, it's not regulated. It's a plant extract, and so it's not specifically regulated by the FDA. So the more that we can be transparent about what we're doing and how we're doing it, gives everybody a level of comfort and trust in the product.
Gotcha. And so you are extracting a lot from your farms?
Yes. Yeah. So essentially, we can process more than we can grow at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so we have our own grow. Everything that we're going to be doing in 2019 will be sourced from within 3 hours away from Chattanooga, with the bulk of it being within 30 minutes from Chattanooga.
In the Chattanooga Valley?
In the Chattanooga Valley.
Nice.
And so 100% of where we will source our hemp this upcoming year will be from Tennessee and mainly around the Chattanooga area. We will be a part of our own grow, where we'll do a few acres. And we'll continue, we did a smaller grow last year. We'll do a few acres this year. We'll see where it leads. That being said, we're leaning on other like-minded farmers to help deliver that high-quality hemp that we need in our process. We want higher percentage material. It works better in our process. We think it produces a better overall product, and so that's what we're looking for at the end of the day. And with the number of licenses and applications and folks participating in the program, going from a little over 200 to just shy of 3,000 this year. Hopefully we'll have some material out there, but a lot's to be determined. And so, this will really be the first full year that we're in operation and sort of figuring out what our capacity is, and hopefully we get the chance and have the demand that will allow us to work with a number of different local farmers and be able to grab some of that good material out there.
Yeah, because come October, November, there's going to be a lot of Tennessee-grown hemp hitting the market. I mean,
and last year it was hard. For us, we were sort of just getting up and running about at harvest time last year, and so we were able to. Luckily, we had some of our own harvest that we had grown to get us started and to get us rolling, and we still have some left. But then we were able to quickly snag up some material from a couple different folks, but pretty soon after that it was gone. There wasn't much else being produced in Tennessee that we had necessarily had access to, and so that was just due to a number of things, but the biggest thing was just there weren't very many people doing it successfully. And we think that this upcoming year, just with the success of the ag program, that it will be that hopefully there will just be a lot more Tennessee derived hemp going into a lot of different Tennessee products out there.
And what's really exciting for us, just in our region, is that hemp really grows well here in Tennessee and in the southeast, and specifically here in Tennessee, our climate is just absolutely perfect.
Lots of sun. I mean, you look at the Lookout Mountain, it looks like a rainforest type.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I really do think if we fast forward 5 years, hemp in Tennessee will be, it's going to be like oranges are to Florida, like peaches are to Georgia. I really do think that the hemp market is developing that fast and that quickly that, Tennessee, it's going to be a huge economic opportunity for our state. It's going to create a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunities.
Because it does take a lot of hands. You can't just throw a field of it and let it go for the season.
Right. It is very. It's a lot different. We've run into a lot of farmers that have been, they're corn farmers or soybean farmers, and they start looking at hemp and they call us asking all sorts of questions, trying to get educated about it. And then once we start talking about really shouldn't use Roundup in your hemp.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't. We will not buy that material. And and that a lot of the farmers are just used to sitting on tractors and spraying their crops, and that's just not hemp. And
it's very manual. It's a very manual process that requires a lot of hands-on labor, and eventually, as the industry continues to grow, more infrastructure will be put in place, more machinery will be invented that will kind of help assist that. But as of now, everything is very manual. And when you look at that plant, it has to be sawed at the base with a saw and hung up somewhere. It's not something that can just be.
It's like a little tree.
The fiber of that stalk is just like tree fiber.
Yeah.
And
it is, and I think that's. And most of the hemp production right now is all for the CBD market. There's really not a fiber market, but again, you fast forward in 5 years.
Hempcrete fiber fuels.
The fiber market will be is going to replace cotton and a lot of pine trees for the use in clothing and paper and plastics and those type of commodities. So the market. Nobody's made that huge investment for that fiber processing facility yet, but that's who knows how many millions of dollars.
Did y'all do anything with the root balls?
No. We let them compost. We just kind of let them pull them up and let some pieces of it stay in the ground and composted the rest. But I have heard of folks who are actively harvesting the roots and making products from them or whatnot, but we just weren't that far along this past growth.
Yeah, that's why I was curious about what might be going on with that, because it still seems like the product is there. It still has medicinal properties and can be used.
Correct.
I saw some pictures of some folks harvesting some hemp root, and then just for us trying to get it out of the ground and get it ready. I don't envy the folks who are harvesting hemp root. That's probably that's a good bit harder than harvesting the hemp plant.
Between Travis and I, we were just lucky to get the plants harvested this last year, because that's to Travis's point. You got to get out there. You got to cut the plant down, then you got to get it hung up and dried. It's
real work.
It is. Yeah, you're going to get in shape.
I feel like a real Southern boy.
That's right, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's you really get connected with the earth when you're growing hemp. That's for sure.
So when you talk about pesticides and stuff like that, there's no way for that to leave during the extraction process. It needs to be all organic.
We test on the front end,
and
so we will send that material in there and see. There's a list of various pesticides on the screen that there's pesticides out there that are less harmful than others, but in general there's a good list out there of various forms of pesticide that at the end of the day just shouldn't be in something that somebody consumes, even at a micro level.
Right.
There's likely always going to be something, but we test for that on the front end. We want to see non-detectable, at least at this test level. That gives us a little more assurance that this is high quality material.
And there are methods in the processing where you can filter it to help get out the pesticides. But again, we prefer that it just not have it to start with. Then it totally eliminates any type of variability that may exist inside of a processing operation. So
what should the consumer think about when they're looking at products on a shelf and they see when to keep that in mind?
Right. And currently, hemp can't be, certified organic. Certainly probably within the next few years it will be able to get that certification, but you want to look for hemp that has been grown in accordance with organic practices. Okay, so you want to make sure that the product your product's output is only going to be as good as the product's input. So it's hugely important to understand what those inputs are and what the quality is of those inputs, just to make sure that you're getting what you want. And more importantly, probably in the case of pesticides and herbicides, you're not getting what you don't want.
Right.
So I think that's just hugely important.
Yeah,
to understand.
It's really important for the consumer to be able to look at a product and distinguish what it is, because there are a lot of different variations of products out there. And for us, we've been trying to figure out a way that we can just relay the information as to what makes this tincture different than the next tincture or the next tincture. And so, just in terms of a handful of items that a customer needs to look at, they need to know whether or not they're looking for an isolate or a full spectrum. They need to kind of just be aware as far as their employment drug testing or anything that, right or wrong, they just need to be aware and responsible as it relates to drug testing, and understand that, hey, if I do take this full spectrum product regularly for 4 or 5 months, will I fail a drug test? Want to avoid some of those situations. But that being said, if you're looking to CBD for a specific ailment, that ailment may be more effectively aided with a full spectrum product. And so, as a consumer, you want to know what is in that product, and everything's measured by CBD at this point, because that's the compound that everybody's focused on. They want to know how many milligrams of CBD are in this product. With our process, we utilize ethanol extraction, and ethanol does a really good job of pulling many different compounds out of that plant. And so that plant has so many different compounds other than just CBD. And so with our process, we are not, with the Little Trees products specifically, and we may get to a different manufacturing point in the future, but in terms of what Little Tree products will always be is a full spectrum hemp extract that contains more than just CBD. And so, one part of the reason why we want our material to be super high quality on the front end is because with our process, the output is very similar. The compound makeup of that plant material directly is related to the compound makeup of the product. And so that's why we have lot numbers on our bottles, to where you can trace where what material was used to make that bottle. And so people can understand, okay, do I want a product that contains a little bit of THC, a little bit of CBC, a little bit of CBN or some of these other compounds, or do I kind of want a host of terpenes in this tincture as well? Do I want 1 or 2 terpenes, or do I want a host of them? With our extraction method, it's kind of a single extraction sort of method, and so we've had anywhere from 8 to 15 different detectable terpenes in our crude, and usually 5 or 6 different cannabinoids in there. And so when you look at our product, it's hard, you don't really know as a consumer what all is in there, because everybody's focused on that CBD number. And while sometimes you may only want that CBD in an isolate form, a full spectrum that contains those other compounds oftentimes leads to a more effective product overall. And so you just need to be cognizant of what you're taking it for, and is the isolate going to get you there, or do you need that full spectrum to get you there?
Nice, because there is a wide range of cannabinoids that are coming through, right?
Correct.
Obviously, that's
Yes.
pretty much your whole point.
And there's more than we even really know about.
Yeah.
To be honest, the third-party lab that we use, they have and it's the same with a lot of these different labs. They have a list of cannabinoids that are most commonly found, and that's what they look into. But the fact of the matter is we just don't have enough research on this plant, what really is in there. And so, to be honest, there's truly more compounds in that plant than we understand. That being said, labs are getting more advanced, and the laws are lenient, allow more testing, and further research is showing us what all is really in the plant, and what all we're looking for.
And And, you know, as a consumer too, I think it's important to understand the extraction methods that are being used for hemp. So, you know, there's 2 or 3 really common ones. We choose ethanol extraction, and I'll tell you why we chose that. There's what's referred to as CO2 extraction, where they use, you know, basically carbon dioxide to extract the CBD. And then there's even, you know, closed loop systems that utilize butane to extract that, which is a pretty efficient way to do it. But we didn't choose butane because we just don't think that butane should be anywhere near anything that you're going to put in your body. Mm-hmm. Even though if it's done properly, it's fairly safe. We chose ethanol extraction over CO2 extraction because ethanol extraction, to Travis's point, grabs so much more of what all the good stuff that's contained in the hemp. And it allows us to have, when you take a bottle of LittleTree hemp extract, I mean, it is literally just concentrated hemp in that bottle. It contains all the terpenes and the cannabinoids and a lot of the fatty acids and amino acids that are inside that plant. So it's just a really good, you know, it's concentrating all of that goodness of the hemp plant inside of that bottle. And that's the reason why we chose ethanol extraction as our primary process to use for our products.
Awesome. Was there anything else you guys like to say about your products before we end it here?
Just check out www.LittleTreeLabs.com, and you know, happy to answer any questions in regards to, you know, our products, or, you know, one of the common things we get into is dosing. I'm happy to help with dosing and helping people find the right product for whatever they need to increase the quality of their lives. So happy to help anybody that has any questions, email, chat, whatever we need to do. So
nice. You guys seem like you know your product well, so that's always good.
Yes, and we're learning more every day. Like I said, that's what makes this so interesting and such a neat industry to be a part of, is that there's just constant learning about how, you know, what benefits that this plant can offer, and then hearing from our customers, as far as, you know, hearing that, you know, one of our customers may have used our product for this ailment or that ailment or that ailment, not just for sleep or not just for pain, but, you know, for migraines or for anxiety or for any of these other hosts of ailments that this product has been shown to be helpful with. It's a continuous, refreshing process to hear that feedback from our customers, to continue to learn more about the industry and how it's forming, and then also just to learn more about the science behind it all. And it'll be a continuous learning process and continuous progress.
Nice. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. LittleTreeLabs, check them out.
That's right. We have a long list of retailers on our website, so check out our retailers. We're adding more all the time. And you know, go down and talk to folks and get educated as to why LittleTree is a good choice.
I think that's great, guys. Thank you.
Hey, thanks. Man, that's awesome.